the AirDrop pop-up that said Room 614. The pop-up bloomed across my screen like a dare I hadn't agreed to. Room 614 would like to share a photo. No punctuation, just the little blue circle pulsing as if patience were a game we both wanted to lose. I was sitting at the kitchen table auditing receipts, my least favorite sacrament, when the window rose above everything else. AirDrop from nearby. Accept or decline. My first thought was civic. A neighbor, maybe. Some kid trying to AirDrop memes up and down the hall because summer had finally trained the city to forgive. Then the thumbnail sharpened. A hotel lobby I knew from advertisements that tried too hard. Alder rooms, brick making a case for inheritance. In the photo, a marble console with a bowl of green apples and a folded card tented beside them like a clue. Welcome, event, Theo and guest. I didn't tap. Mara had texted at 6 with our hyphen, the one that makes I love you sound like a project plan. Studio late, don't wait. She builds light that behaves. I make rooms sound like they tell the truth even when they'd rather hum their innocence. The apartment smelled like basil pretending to survive. The ugly lamp in our small room threw its honest yellow into the corner like a witness not yet sworn. Room 614 would like to share a photo, the rectangle insisted, as if the name alone deserved citizenship. Accept. Decline. My thumb hovered. I tapped. The image filled the screen, a lobby as meticulous as a confession. And then, in the top left corner, the sender name changed like a face rearranging itself mid-sentence. Mara's MacBook Air. I stared until the white bar at the bottom faded. AirDrop is blunt. It tells you the name of the device that thinks proximity is intimacy. We'd named her laptop after her. We hadn't named any rooms. I set the computer down as if it were a body in a scene I didn't trust myself around. At 8:03, the lock turned. The hallway sent its narrow yellow under the door like a reporter with a deadline. Mara stepped in with hair pinned low, and the face she carries when a wall misbehaves and she forgives it with interest. She saw the light on my face trying to become weather. She set her bag down in the place our bags understand, and did the brave thing I married her for, came close enough to fail well. You saw it, she said. Room 614 wants to send me a photo, I said. Your Mac is moonlighting as a bellhop. She exhaled without decorating anything. Kitchen or small room, she asked. The small room is where the ugly lamp lives, where we keep the list of rules written on the back of a takeout menu because holy text should be washable. The kitchen is where knives live and mercy is most at hand. Here, I said, let the refrigerator over here. She leaned her palms on the island like a person promising a surface it won't be punished. Thea insisted I see the lobby wall at Alder after hours, she said. He thinks light tells the truth when it gets to pretend it's private. I brought my laptop to bully the fixtures into being polite. I airdropped the photo to my own machine because the network sulked. She half laughed, honest and wrecked. AirDrop likes to offer everyone within 50 feet a souvenir. Did you kiss him? I asked, because we have learned to pick up the sharp things first. I did, she said, and watched my mouth not audition for righteousness. Once, on the balcony because I wanted the outside air to keep me from lying about what heat is. It wasn't good. He tasted like italics. I left because the version of me who likes hotel mirrors doesn't get Mondays. What did you want? I asked, trying not to make the word into a courthouse. To find out whether the switch is dead, she said. The one labeled ruin and call it clarity. She's quieter now. She can be negotiated with. Do you want him? I asked, not to be cruel, but because the question always costs less now than later. No, she said. I want an hour where my face is not a tool and the ceiling doesn't need me. He impersonates that hour. You build it here. We stood a breath apart with the basil pretending to hold our case. Then I reached for the takeout menu we've turned into a constitution and uncapped the pen that lives in the sugar bowl. Truth before AirDrop, I wrote. Mara nodded and, in her small, precise hand, added, if a device tries to make a room public, I name the room here first. I wrote, if you think you have to kiss someone to learn you don't want them, tell me before your body tries to publish. She underlined tell twice, the way love dresses as a warning when it intends to keep you around. Storm or quiet, she asked, and it was not coy, it was code. Quiet, I said, then whether we mop. We ate the pasta I'd salted like water could absolve us. After, she came around the island and set her mouth under my ear where grammar resigns. I put both hands on her hips and felt our kitchen remember its function. She stepped back onto the counter with the competence of someone who builds machines for a living, and I followed. And we were careful because spectacle is for crowds and greedy because yes, is a budget you keep solvent by spending. We stopped while stopping meant tomorrow would want us. We leaned foreheads together until breath turned back into furniture. In the morning, AirDrop tried to be cute. Share back, it suggested as if etiquette were oxygen. I closed the lid. Mara forwarded the email she'd sent at midnight. No more after hours, photos at noon, boardroom or nothing. He replied with a sentence that nearly auditioned for decent. Understood. He CC'd the building manager the way men outsource penance. The day pretended to be kind. I tuned a black box theater so it would stop whispering as if that were intimacy. Mara convinced a museum wall to blush only when someone earned it. At lunch, my phone dinged with a memory stitched by software that believes string sections can forgive. 30 seconds of our kitchen, bad lamp doing its best, basil trying immortality. I let it play. I did not add music. The room already had a heartbeat. Of course, the city is petty. A week later, a new pop-up intervened while I was looking up whether Basil likes shame. Room 614 is nearby, it announced, course-correcting my pulse. Beneath it, a line I wanted to fold in half, share password. I laughed alone at the counter because adulthood requires an ego with good cardio. I tapped decline with more gentleness than the gesture deserved. That night in the small room, we added another rule. If a place learns to say our names, we decide whether it gets to pronounce them. The ugly lamp approved by making everything unphotogenic. We kissed like punctuation marks and stopped where commas stop, not where periods try to win. We failed anyway because people do. A dry cleaner called to confirm alterations on one black silk that wants attention. I brought it home. We set the garment bag on the chair we keep for conversations we don't want to conduct standing. Mara touched the plastic like a meteor she had befriended. Some fabrics are dangerous, she said. Some are for kitchen floors. That night she wore the silk with socks and said storm like a prayer. We obeyed. We stopped when stopping meant desire could roll into mourning like a savings account we'd refuse to starve. Theo learned humility like a second language. At a donor thing where wine rehearsed personality, he nodded from an appropriate distance and said to Mara, "The lobby sings," she said. We tuned the audience, and my petty heart forgave his first act. AirDrop still tried tricks. Mara wants to share receipt, JPG. It offered a few days later while I was making toast that didn't deserve love. I accepted. The tiff was a shot of her own face in a hotel mirror, angle unflattering, intent not. "For you, not the room," she wrote in the message field, and something unclenched in me that had been trying to become a hobby. We wrote newer rules because script is how we keep storms from unionizing. If panic sends a link, we give it 15 minutes and then a kiss precise enough to teach jealousy manners. If a platform begs to be a diary, we tell it to do the dishes. If a wall asks for after hours, it gets office hours or silence. The city tested us again. Safari showed me a tab group named Balcony around noon with one link inside, best staircases in old buildings. The shared circle said created by Mara. I sent a thumbs up I meant, then added a second link, how to keep Basil alive when you refuse to learn. She hearted it. Later she sent a photo of our roof with 2 folding chairs and wrote, "Only balcony I want. Bring ugly lamp glow." We carried the chairs up. We did not take the lamp. The sky refused to become metaphor. We kissed anyway. One night, because the phone loves comedy, AirDrop popped up while we were both at the table. Room 614 would like to share a contact, it sang. I tapped accept. A single card appeared. Our kitchen. Under notes in her hand, the rule that ended our evening early because it ended it right. If a room wants to be in our marriage, it can bring a chair to the kitchen and watch us decide. I would like to tell you the notifications stopped. They did not. They learned to be less bright. Nearby devices, my Mac would hint at odd hours and I would press the X and nothing in me would ask for more. We made toast. We did laundry. She sat quiet against my chest at 1:12 a.m. and I obeyed. This morning, a final pop-up tried to audition for Grace. AirDrop from kitchen, it read, which is not a device but felt like it. Beneath it, a photo of our rule sheet, grease-polished, taped crooked to the fridge with a magnet shaped like a lemon. Truth before AirDrop. If a room wants us, it asks the sink. Kiss before conclusions, boardroom or nothing. Only balcony worth learning, hours. Storm or quiet? Mara asked, stealing the good mug as if theft were piety. Both, I said, in the order you like. She came into me with the confidence of someone who has decided to be alive on a Tuesday. The basil tried a new leaf. The ugly lamp failed at handsomeness and triumphed at honesty. We did the work that turns rooms back into houses. We stopped while stopping was extravagant. And when the computer pinged one last time in the corner, room 614 is nearby, we let it be and stayed where we were, which is the only plot twist I care to produce. If there is a moral, it is boring and therefore useful. Devices confess on their own schedule. People have to be asked. We keep asking. We keep arriving. We practice knowing the difference between a balcony and a roof, between a kiss that tests and a kiss that builds, between a share that wants witnesses and a promise that prefers the kitchen. When the blue circle pulses, we do not panic. We turn to each other. We pronounce our names. Then we accept, or we decline, together.